What is the official title of your job?
Well, I'm a patrol deputy for Mendota County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. And so what motivated you to take this line of work?
Well, motivation. Well, my grandpa and my dad were both cops, so it's kind of it runs in the family. It's kind of something I've always wanted to do. Then I became a cop, and that changed. I mean, I love being a cop. I love what I do, but it changed because there are certain things that you do that you get a lot of gratification from. Like when you actually help someone, and you go through the whole system, it rocks, and you see everything work to the benefit of the people or the person you're trying to help. It's just a sense of accomplishment.
Okay. Do you want to go next?
Yes. So what's like your job entail? Like what do you do every day at the office?
Every day, well, I come to work. Depending on how busy it was the shift before mine, we'll contact the officer who's on before. They'll tell us what happened, if anything happened. And then some days are really busy with calls. We take from a simple barking dog or cows out type of call when they're out on the road or the dogs are barking and annoying somebody, to as dangerous as shots fired calls or domestics. I deal with all that stuff. So I mean, there's a lot entitled in that. I mean, we do just about everything you can think of. Now, bigger departments, they have specific people who do specific jobs. Like Twin Falls, well, Boise, I guess I'd say. They have people who are strictly traffic, and they have people who are strictly take calls. Then there are people who are strictly investigation. But they have, I think Boise has, I don't know how many they have now. They may have up to near 1,000 officers. Whereas my department, we have altogether, 15. So it's a little bit different world.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like your job?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There are days that you're glad to go home, and there's days that are, if you could make them go forever, you would. So.
Okay.
So like, how did you get this job? Like, how were you put into this?
Well, there are a few different ways you can go to school and get a bachelor's in criminal justice. I actually just applied. I was hired at Rupert, and then they sent me to POST, which is the Police Academy, which is POST stands for Police Officer Standard Training, and it's put on by the state. You go, and when I went, it was a 10-week course. It's actually Academy up in Meridian. You actually go there. You spend all 10 weeks there. You start learning laws. You go through what's called Law Week. It's 7 days of where they just bring in attorneys and they teach you about every law out there. And it is a long week because you're sitting in a classroom for 8 to 10 hours learning law. And law is very boring. It's very boring. Then there's a week we went out and shot guns. Then there's a week we learned how to drive. There's weeks we were learning how to deal with certain types of calls. We learned how to do traffic control. We learned how to defend ourselves. We learned how to wrestle. We learned how to control subjects with the minimal risk to us and them. It's called arrest techniques. And we just basically learned everything. There's one night, if you choose to, you can be pepper sprayed. I did. I would suggest never, if you ever get threatened with pepper spray, give up. And a taser, because I've been tased too, and it hurts. So yeah, you just learn how to do all that stuff at post. If you take the criminal justice, get the degree in that, it's a little bit different. You don't have to go to post because you learn all that stuff already. Post has actually extended their grip to the colleges now. CSI, ISU, all have programs through post. They are a little longer because you go home every night. I think they're about 3 months now. Whereas post still has their 10-week course too. And yeah.
So with that post class, is that something that every police officer is expected to go through?
No.
Or is that just a certain line?
No, it's just if you didn't go to college and get that degree in criminal justice, then you go to post.
Okay.
If you get the degree in criminal justice, you don't have to go to post.
Okay.
Because they should teach you everything already in that criminal justice course.
Okay.
So, how long have you been an officer, and like, what's your like a memory that you like really, like a really good memory that you've had from 10 years?
I've been a cop since 2005, so April of 2005, so almost 13 years, a little less than 13 years. And like, what do you mean by memory?
Like, do you have a very like memorable memory? Like, do you?
Depends on if you want a good or bad memory.
A good memory.
A good memory? Shoot. I guess there was this. I can't really talk about that one.
Oh, it's okay. Like, I mean, you don't have to.
Well, there are a lot of good memories. Like,
Probably just overall helping the community.
yeah, helping
right?
the community. I mean, you get to see like inside the schools, you get to see a lot of the kids grow. But I guess if you're looking for a good memory, I've helped so. There's a lot of them. There's one, a 5-year-old girl was being abused by her stepfather, and this girl, 5-year-old girl, was one of the strongest kids I've ever met, and her mom had issues, mental issues. Her mom was a little bit slow, but this 5-year-old girl, I mean, she was just, I mean, awesome, and because of her and her testimony of this 5-year-old girl, her stepfather ended up going to jail for a very long time. And that was one of my first big cases, one of my first really big cases. And she was awesome. She was awesome to work with. And she's only 5. She's already smarter than her mom. It was awesome.
Wow.
So.
Okay, and what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Same. I really like that.
I thought it would be a donut.
No.
So,
Well, okay, what is your favorite donut flavor?
probably be like a Bismarck with Bavarian cream.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
And one of our weird questions we had is like, do you know what love is?
What love is?
Yeah.
What is love?
What is love?
Love? Well, it depends on what type of love you're talking about. Because there's a romantic love. And then there's the love of... Then there's just love. And that's the... If you're just talking about love, because, I would say it's that you care for someone. That it's not... There's... Well, there are conditions, because love does have conditions. But you just care about people. Like, I don't know you guys, because it's the first time we've met.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my goals as a cop, especially as the SRO, is just to see people graduate. Okay, and that's what I mean. There's certain students that you are going to graduate no matter what. But there are the harder students that have issues that you want to see graduate, and you work a little bit harder for them and with them because you want them to graduate. You put their needs before yours. So.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Generally, people just say, "Baby, don't hurt me." No more.
No.
Okay, let me see. Where was I at? Have you worked any other jobs besides police officer?
Oh, yeah.
in your career?
I worked when I was a teenager, I worked for Little Caesars.
Oh, nice.
Made a lot of pizza. And I also, before I became a cop, was a manager of a armored guard. Like Loomis and Fargo, they transport money. I did that with a different company.
Okay.
So, and I picked up money and transported from company to bank and vice versa. In this hand here, my left hand, I've carried $1.2 million.
Wow.
It's not as light as everybody thinks. Matter of fact, it was very heavy.
I bet.
I like watching movies. Like, yeah, they have this little briefcase. Like, yeah, it's a bunch of hundreds. I'm like, that's not near $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but that was pretty fun too.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like,
I hope I'm still here. Actually, my goal is to as a deputy and as an SRO still work. I hope I'm still working here in the schools, or if not, still patrolling. I mean, I patrolled for darn near 12 years, and I've done. I mean, I like it. It has its bonuses. I put on my truck. I put on my truck about 20,000 miles a year, and that's way over what a lot of people put on.
Mm-hmm.
On a bad year, if we're really slow, it could get to 30,000 easy. Because I'll put on between 500 and 1,000 miles a week. So depending on how busy we are. So.
Do you have a morning or afternoon routine that you like to stick to?
I do have a morning routine. I usually wake up about an hour before I get to work, get ready, and I'll sit there after I've gotten my shower and gotten ready. That way, I'll just sit and relax and wait till about a half hour before I get to work, and then about a half hour I start slowly getting ready because you have to put on a different mindset when you come to this job.
Mm-hmm.
When you get home, you have to change your mindset. My dad gave me good advice when I was young in the field, and he said, the one thing that you need to do is you need to be able to separate your home life from your work life.
Mm-hmm.
Because your work life is either real fast paced or real slow paced, and it can be extremely dangerous, and you get that adrenaline dump real hard and real quick. Whereas your home life, you don't have that. It's your home life. You just need to separate them. So, I mean, there are routines that I go through just to cool off and separate myself from work, and then to bring myself back into it. Because
so, like, if someone wants this job, like, what is the first step? Because, like, my little brother really likes playing police officer with me.
okay, the first step to become a cop is I have to want to be a cop. The next step is that you will either go to school and get a degree, which I would suggest doing that over going to post, because it's a lot better for you. If you don't think you want to do that, it's just if you have to be, by law, you cannot carry a pistol sidearm until you're 21. But post does make exceptions for that. And if you can get clearance from your department, you get hired on. You can get that clearance to carry that sidearm, and then you get sent to post. If you have questions about joining, there's the reserve programs that I think almost every department has. Whereas you are a reserve, which means they'll call on you, say, "Hey, we need your help," or you can come out and ride along with officers. I know Minidoka has a lot of reserves. Rupert, Hayburn all have reserves. Kaja does too. And that's a real good way of getting the feel to see if you really want to do the job. Because the hardest part about this job is you get in a high-speed chase, and I've been in many of them, because you have all that adrenaline just dumped into you, and